What is the most NSFW thing you have seen at an office gathering or party? Mythbusters did it. Damn, that's a big window. Had to have been the Phyllis era. But at least the poo filter finally had a chance to shine. Not sure how much it would be shining after that. They say you can't polish a turd. Company credit card and taking clients out for dinner might sound awesome. But all I'm hearing is working in your off time and more paperwork. Work party, one guy took a shit in the toilet followed by grabbing the vacuum cleaner and sucking it all up. Last year's work Christmas party, one woman, known for overdrank. She came to sit at the table I was at and proceeded to sit down, where their WSS no chair, straight on her ass. Later that night she was grinding on one of the boss's girlfriends and apparently tried to talk the boss and his girl into a three-way. She is still confused why she didn't get the promotion she was going for at the time. That would have granted her a company credit card and had her taking clients out to dinners. That had to damage the poor filter. Went as a date to lawyer girl's work party. Open bar. Phenomenal food. Everything was amazing except the smell periodically through the night. Turns out one of the younger interns found out he never got the job opening. So he shit himself and drank all night, acting as if nothing ever happened. My assistant gave a blowjob to one of my bosses at a bus stop while her boyfriend smoked cigars with our co-workers. His suspicions were confirmed when his girlfriend showed up with breath that smelled like a Christmas bonus. And you told him, right? His boss probably knew about it. He was right there. I feel like he would have to know that somebody was giving him a blowjob. We bought our boss sexy Santa lingerie as a gag gift. She tried it on in front of us and proceeded to do a striptease dance all the while screaming out how her husband was going to love this. She's 54. Edit. I worked at a call center. I am a female. Was 16 years old at the time. So the answer was still is, no, I did not particularly enjoy it. That's how you assert dominance. They bought it as a gag but she showed them. What type of company? What type of job? She's obviously a stripper. Duh. He couldn't get the hooker out himself, huh? I love this one the most cause it's just the most to the point simplest thing yet still super duper fucked up. Classic Todd. When I was a teenager I volunteered to DD at a fancy dinner for the local RCMP detachment. Police had some big wigs from provincial headquarters and such. I think it was like the station's 50th anniversary or something similar. Jesus Christ. One cop got on stage with the band and started singing. Was really good actually. One female cop dancing on a table broke it and went face first into the floor. Kept on partying once the blood stopped. There was a young new cop that year. Ripped good looking guy. So this guy was getting panties thrown at him left, right and center. Driving him and his current date home, they fucked in the backseat. He slipped me $20 and told me I saw nothing. I saw everything. Next trip the cop and his wife were drunk but nothing outrageous. But as they were getting out he casually tossed what ended up being a pair of thong panties into the front seat and saying something I didn't quite hear. I assume they were from the previous couple. And my favorite was driving one of the high-ranking police officers in my province back to his hotel and he just fell over as I rounded a curve. Like a tree. Unconscious. Had to get hotel staff to help drag him out. Now imagine all this with Mounties dressed in their ed surge. And these are just the things I saw. My buddies who are DDIing have similar tales. Hard to take a cop seriously when he's giving you a ticket for speeding in a car you watched him finger a girl's ass in. There's a lot of Canadian in the post. Went out for drinks with co-workers after service. It was a lunch-focused restaurant, and by the end of the night, one of our cashiers decided to lactate on me from across the table. Pics that's hot as shit. Username definitely checks out. Are you okay, dude? Of course he's not okay, he has cancer and autism. Can't you read? No, I can't read. AMA. How? Spray and pray. Rush B with TID 90. Sickoted. She used a counterweight to launch 90 kilograms of milk to my seat which was 300 meters away. It was a real long table, okay? Or she's not a filthy casual and knows how to aim. This is one of the rare comments on Reddit that genuinely made me laugh my ass off. Well, grab a vacuum. First Christmas party at a tech startup. Go to the bathroom towards the end of the night. Realize mid-piss that the sounds coming from the stall next mine are the CTO and his wife going at it. Step out of the stall and the CEO and some sales guys are doing lines. CEO sees me and shouts, "Hey, it's Jared, my name isn't Jared." He called me Jared for about 6 months after that until I pulled him aside and corrected him one day. Fun times. Was his name Gavin Belson? Our company Christmas party had a tequila ice luge. One of our Class A drivers got so wasted he was doing flips on the dance floor and juggling Corona bottles. Then he went and sat on a 19-year-old girl's lap and her mom went ballistic. He was kicked out and proceeded to drive himself home. What a guy. Edit. Let me answer a couple of questions. It's a rock and roll type company, so heavy drinking is accepted. Not driving drunk though. Both mom and daughter work for the company and are quite bitchy. Driver is late 30s. He drove for the circus 4 years and apparently picked up a couple tricks along the way. The worst part of him driving was the company paid for Ubers to and from the party. Oh, and no, not Wisconsin. Why did a 19-year-old invite her mom? Or, why did some middle-aged woman invite her 19-year-old? Because Wisconsin? Fun fact. In Wisconsin, you can drink in a bar with your parents until you turn 18. However, from 18 to 21 you cannot drink in the bars. I love trying to explain this to people who aren't from Wisconsin. It simply boggles the mind. I'm an NZ and this really boggles my mind. I mean, our legal age is 18, but WTF is up with the up to 18 okay, but 18-21 nope. I think the logic is that up until 18 the legal guardian is administering the alcohol, which is legal in most states as one's residence, but in Wisconsin it is legal in bars. Once they turn 18 they don't have a legal guardian with which to administer the alcohol. I know people should be responsible adults, but having a tequila ice luge at a party is asking for trouble. Also, what's a Class A driver? Class A commercial driver's license. Trucker's license also for large buses. Commercial driver's license A tractor and trailer up to 53 feet. B bus, bucket truck, straight truck, 2-axle. I am not sure if a C or D is typical license. I have had my A for so long. Edit for clarity. It is ridiculous because a holder of a CDLA can only have up to 04 back before it is a DUI. This goes for any vehicle they are driving. So this inebriated gentleman just broke the law to leave his company party, for which company he is supposed to drive professionally. I mean, if someone drives after being so drunk that then it was a DUI no matter what kind of license they had. Wow. Was there any follow-up? Did it lead to job repercussions, disciplinary action? Especially the driving home part. Yeah, the guy is a bit of a jackass and was on thin ice anyway. This just sealed his fate. A Class A driver driving home blacked out is just outrageous. Plus his wife was there and let him drive. I think his wife was hoping for a crash. Put the needle on the record. When the drum beats go like this, Mars needs women are nothing like an alcohol-fueled office party to release those inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. Too much? Probably. That is fucking bold of them. Please tell me the ex-wife and ex-husband of the GM and controller hooked up too. One of my wife's co-workers got a call one day from some guy, you don't know me but my wife and your husband are having an affair. Both couples got divorced, they became friends and cried on each other's shoulder. We attended their wedding last year. She's the sweetest lady, he treats her like his queen. That affair was TH's best thing to happen to them. Maybe he never had a wife and it was all an elaborate ploy. Christmas party. Married HR woman had an orgy with 5 of the warehouse workers. All still work there. HR woman is still married. Edit. Alright. My mistake. It was a gangbang, not an orgy, as far as I know. Sorry. This sounds more like a gangbang. I think the judges could rule it an orgy if the guys were going at with each other as well. Technically it could be considered as an on-the-spot health and safety check that the HR lady carried out on 5 guys. I saw a woman squirt champagne from her vagina into the mouth of the woman who Juicy inserted a champagne bottle into said vagina. I worked as a porn editor at the time, so it was appropriate to the situation. What? Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeast infection city. It went in as wine and came out as champagne. Co-worker threw his desk chair out of a 4-story window after having a few too many. It probably still is a window, you just couldn't close it for a while. Didn't witness this one but heard that this happened just a few months before I was hired. We had a wine tasting for the managers with just some cheese, minor hors d'oeuvres, etc. One particular manager got completely sloshed on wine and got super flirty with another manager from a different department who was significantly younger and good looking. At some point, This young lady put some scented lotion on her hands. Smelling this, the drunk manager came over to her and pulled his dick out and asked her to put some lotion on there too. Right in the middle of the room and tasting. I heard he was gone instantly. He was recently found out to currently be a tour guide on a duck boat, and a bad one at that. Tour guide on a duck boat? I have no idea what that means. And I also realize I have no idea what ducks do in their free time. I think it's one of those buses that turn into a boat. Is it a boat shaped like a duck? Is it a tour boat for ducks? Or do the ducks own and operate the boat but employ people? I must know. As for their spare time, they float around and rape each other. Imagine a boat with a chassis and 4 wheels welded to the bottom. They're used for tours. I know there are quite a few around here in the Seattle area. On a duck boat. Jesus. Is every one of these stories based in Wisconsin? Christmas parties here go off the rails, dude. Hahaha. Yet another Wisconsin post. Do you just assume everyone who's ever been drunk is from Wisconsin? Because that seems like a weird assumption to make. Edit. For the gazillion people who have informed me that duck tours are a Wisconsin thing, you should also know there are duck tours in Boston, Philly, Seattle, Portland, and basically every other locality that has both people and water. Saw a drunk dude getting a handy under the table from another drunk dude. Both of them were supposedly straight when not drunk. Brojab. Used to work for a big bank. We had a little potluck for Christmas. And long story short, about 2 hours later, someone shit in the bathroom and smeared it literally, and I mean literally, all over the bathroom stalls, the wall, the stall door handle, the toilet sensor, fucking everywhere. It looked like a XXL Hershey bar stepped on an IED. We never did quite catch the elusive poop handle bandit. Legend says he's still out there, ravaging the latrines of financial institutions to this day. It looked like a XXL Hershey bar stepped on an IED. That, you magnificent bastard, is the most beautiful thing I have read today. I salute you. We never did quite catch the elusive poop handle bandit. Please, at least give the poop artist the correct title. We can only assume they were not banditing anything and made a mural with their own droppings. Worked in a warehouse for a while. We had regular awards nights where we'd all get fucked up and hand out stupid awards like Driver of the Year for the person who had the worst forklift accident, or who crashed a work car. Other things of note. 1. Doing lines with the boss off his desk every party. 2. Married co-workers banging in the car park. 3. The mentally handicapped, and very drunk, cleaner getting wrapped in packing tape by 3 guys. 4. Having forklift races in the aisles of the warehouse. Forklifts being driven by guys who are plastered. 5. Using forklifts to lift each other to the roof of the warehouse. I don't miss my old job, but damn I miss the parties. Osha. I love the Dundies. My husband's old company decided that they weren't going to invite spouses to the Christmas party. Okay, I dropped him off so he could drink freely, no big deal. After he called me to pick him up, I ended up waiting in my car for nearly half an hour, watching some of his male co-workers through the window getting lap dances from some female co-workers. There's likely a reason the bosses decided to not invite spouses. It means that they didn't have to bring their own spouses either, and they could let loose, for lack of a better term. They were really cheap. Some people had gone without a raise in 4 years. I can't believe they even had a party. Karaoke started with 2 assistants, both women, doing a ballad together, in rapid succession, on the stage, and with plenty of drinks between. The following things happened. Those 2 women sing a few songs while clutching each other and giggling the entire time. Some less than wholesome dancing together to a George Michael song. Remaining on the stage, one of them sits in a rolling chair while the other serenades, gives a lap dance to her to Santa Baby. At this point, another woman in the office decides it's best to throw some cold water on this party by cutting off the karaoke and play a Christmas music CD. First song is All I Want for Christmas Is You. The 2 women turn this into what seems like the perfect song to sexy slow dance to much caressing and grinding happening. They are finally broken up once they start making out and light groping each other while trying to hide behind a Santa hat that one of them is holding up, covering their faces. And then, yeah, I'm almost there. What happened next? I think you gotta be a platinum member for the ending. Just use a free site already. The card charge and your wife's reaction isn't worth it. No and then. That's why Angela should not be in charge of the party planning committee. Edit. Spelling. Moroccan themed, no doubt. Oh boy, it was at our annual awards dinner where there were Department of the Year, Employee of the Year, a couple other things for people who'd been there a long time. Woman from my department showed up with a bottle of vodka in her purse. The meal was free, the booze wasn't, and it was expensive. So people at the table were getting sodas, free, and mixing at the table. It happened every year. The venue mostly overlooked it. Woman who brought the bottle drank quite a lot of it. I mean, probably half of it herself over the course of the evening. When the dancing started later on, she was bombied. She was wearing this strappy dress that she kept falling out of. At one point she was pulling it up, too, to show off her thong. At some point she lost said thong and was sitting on the stage with her skirt pushed up to her hips and showing off everything. She got fired. Classic Meredith. I went to a customer's holiday party. It was a bit of a good old boy company, so it was at the shop and mostly drinking and grilling with funny awards. It was mandatory and had a dress code, so all these guys were as cleaned up as they could get, but in clothes that didn't fit right anymore ever and whatnot. Also a sausage fest since women are in industry and most of the guys were bachelors. The guys drank like it was water in the desert and decided to move it to local bar they frequent. Well, that bar was hosting the holiday party for a lab and was a total clam bake until we showed up. You mix drunk nerdy girls and drunk manly men and you end up with a lot of finger banging and it ain't discreet. It was a match made in heaven. Absolutely no fallout. The female bartender was egging them on and the boss men had gone to a different bar. They often ran into those girls at lunch there, but there were no repeat performances. I was all over that holiday clam bake until I realized it was not a party with lots of seafood. Somehow, I feel like you're Irish. Close. Wisconsin. A co-worker once stood on a swivey chair. This is definitely one of the more dangerous ones. I know our risk manager would have something to say about someone doing this. My mom is a risk manager. She'd be the one giving the chair another spin. Mad lad. A group of girls pro-gamed the Christmas party pretty hard. They show up wearing prom dresses and 20 minutes later, the most mashed of the girls is out back with her prom dress hiked up above her waist, panties at her knees, bent over taking it from some dude. This set the tone for the rest of the night. Marriages were unintentionally put on hold so drunken co-workers could gain carnal knowledge of each other. Many walks of shame the following day. You guys hiring? Sounds like this motherfucker works on Wall Street. I actually don't understand how people get that drunk. I've been really drunk. I'd still never do like 95% of these things, especially if I was in a relationship. I'm not saying that in a judgmental way, just actually curious. Am I not drinking the right way? I mean, if tequila shots don't do it, then you don't necessarily act crazy if you get drunk. You act crazy if you want to act crazy and have an excuse that is being drunk. How often do these things even happen? It kinda scares me. Lots of people fucking, rarely. One pair cheating on their SOS, every time. Unintentionally. I think people go to these parties knowing full well what they want to do. Worked at Polish retirement home. Christmas party every year is held in the residence party room. Approximately 30 late 40s early 50s Polish women pounded back the vodka like they shouldn't have been alive afterwards. Many insane things each year. Always some passed out. Always some of them competed to get the attention of the one and only male, the crazy drunk maintenance man. And always at least one person ended up crying. Once they all happened at once. Nurses got blasted. Maintenance dude got blasted. Nurses had him sit with them at one of the tables. They played some weird ass drinking game as best I could tell. They would make out with him, then take a shot after, then they all cheer. Eventually I hear chanting and look over. One of the girls is on her knees now, quite sure she blowing him. Except the chanting sounds more like yelling. Look closer, she doesn't seem to be moving. One of the other women is moving to, I wasn't sure, help the other one suck him off. Nope, she grabs the girl under the shoulders and pulls her off the guy's dick and I hear horrible coughing and the girl lands on her back. The guy's dick is at full mast as he bursts out crying. The guy starts muttering something about how he almost killed her. He's bawling. Dick is still out and waving around. The girl woman is on the floor and coughing, but one of the other nurses tries to give her mouth to mouth. Far as I could tell, I think the head giver passed out sucking the guy and choked on his cock, but was out so cold she was just gonna die. So someone tries to do CPR on the now conscious woman and Ms. Dixica doesn't want or need it. So they start fighting, wrestling on the ground, and the chanting starts again. Dude is still crying with his dick out, but now he's standing over them yelling, "Don't fight over me." Now this is all during the day, and there are other workers on shift cause the place doesn't shut down just cause of the party. So in burst a couple of sober nurses to help. Someone had radioed them for help cause of the person choking on cock. They burst in and yell, "What the fuck?" and then the dude with his dick out turns around and faces them, and both scream and run out of the room. Good times. WTF. Correct response. Yup, I'm not reading anymore. Just no way to top that. Next thread. The aristocrats. Wait, people are retired in their late 40s in Poland, and women fight to publicly choke on your cock, even if you're a maintenance worker? Why are we just now hearing about this utopia? This is a great story. Glad to hear you're not jaded out of your maintenance man career. Yeah, I'll keep cleaning up the mess just so I can keep attending those sweet parties. It's worth it for the polished donuts. Polished donuts? Is that a euphemism? I pictured all of this happening with subtitles. It made it better. This is the most elaborate polished joke I've ever heard. That story was a journey. Jesus. I posted this in another thread about work events and thought it might add to this thread too. When I was in my early 20s, I was working at a restaurant with the world's nicest and most innocent group of guys. One weekend, we threw a bachelor party for one of the waiters who was marrying his HS sweetheart. Beer, strippers at someone's house. Crazy. We all hooted and hollered when the strippers tore off their clothes and walked around the room to each guy. We whistled and giggled when the bachelor got a personal show with whipped cream. Good times. As the girls were ending the show, they asked if anyone had any requests before they packed up. One of the cooks, who was at least 20 years older than most of us, walked over and had a serious, 5-minute conversation with the girls. He then turned to us and said that we all had to cough up $300 if we wanted to see something special. Without hesitation, we handed the money to the girls and sat back in anticipation for what was sure to be a lovely show. He laid down on the floor and both girls pissed and shit on him for the next 5 minutes. Guys were gagging. The bachelor started crying. I screamed in terror. One guy walked over to them and yelled, Why? It was as if the devil himself, in mere seconds, had snatched the innocent souls of 15 naive idiots. The show ended in silence. The girls freshened up and left with their eyed. The cook slid on his jacket over his soiled clothes, walked out into the cold night and never returned for his shifts. Our payroll manager got blackout drunk at a Christmas party a few years ago and started insulting people and telling them that they weren't worth how much they were getting paid, while quoting the actual salaries. She was fired the next day, but didn't even remember what she'd done. We had a Mardi Gras themed holiday party. One guy decided to bring his saxophone and be a jazz man. Normal enough, right? Well, he also thought that to be a jazz man, he needed to show up in blackface. Luckily, this is rural Wisconsin and no one at the company was black, so we all just got really drunk and told him he's an idiot. Luckily, this is rural Wisconsin and no one at the company was black. Honestly not sure if this makes it better or worse. Better for avoiding hurt feelings at holiday gatherings. Worse for making people realize that blackface stopped being appropriate around 1930. Thanks, Mr. Popo. I had not made this connection until right now. Popo, knock a key web page. All these squares make a circle. 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 They also have Halloween parties where everyone dresses like ghosts. Wait, I was going to link Shaggy from Scooby-Doo going GGH ghosts. Zoinks, but then I realized to fully reflect the implication I'd have to make him in blackface, then I realized I was going down the same path that got us into this mess. I certainly didn't work in the most formal office ever, but this was still pretty weird. One guy whipped out some sort of melon bong, like this Imgur web page, except with an actual melon. Fruit cup trash, as opposed to a delicious watermelon. We all get silent and look at the top boss, who contemplates for a second. Then he's like, hell yeah, you better share, and everyone was joyous again. Edit. Also I got that picture from another Reddit. Fruit bong. The fruitiest of bongs. Trees webpage. Post from like 3 years ago. Not trying to take credit for anyone else's work. Just recently had my office Christmas party. The location we went to was BYOB. So a bunch of us went in on a keg. The head of HR was chanting for keg stands by the end of the night. Edit. And in case anyone is wondering, keg stands were had by many. There was a co-worker who arrived in a giant baby diaper with nothing else on except sneakers, and someone smeared chocolate frosting on his diaper at some point. Not super wild, but this was a dry party. A dry party? That's why he came with a diaper. If it's a giant baby diaper, wouldn't it be an adult diaper? Except that implies that it's like depends. This was a big ol' saggy baby diaper. They're wearing adult diapers to a party and nothing else may have been much worse. I worked at Macca's and we had a work party. Some of the crew volunteered to run the night shift while the rest of us went 10-pin bowling and drank scrumpies. I was a manager so I got to see the camera footage the next day. It was of me, walking around the restaurant and kitchen with my pants down, shaping my balls to look like a brain and making people look at my taut scrot. There were also brown eyes and squash strats, which is where you press your dick and balls up against the glass. That was me in the drive-through window. I woke up horrified and knew I was in trouble. There was a small fallout. I miraculously didn't get fired. No one formally complained. My punishment was to wash car windows as they went through drive-through on my day off and donate the tips to the Ronald McDonald House charity. I'm North American and I must assume you are Australian. If they say Macca's, that is definitely Australian. Pretty sure this dude is a Kiwi. Macca's is also Kiwi slang. And I also stalked his post history. When I used to work for a large corporate law firm, a guy and a girl who both worked in the accounts team got in an argument. One thing led to another and the girl threw her glass of red wine over his white shirt. Without missing a beat he just grabbed her by the throat and started choking her. This was just off the side of the dance floor, in front of 300 plus staff. Went to bar for after party. Dude was playing pool with girls, was getting killed, whipped his balls out and put out them on that table. That sounds like a quick way to lose any chance at having children. A bunch of people from the office decided to get together and head to a foam party. One of the girls got white girl wasted and stripped down to nothing but her panties and danced on one of the tables. Made for an interesting night. White girl wasted. Is that worse than Myrtle Beach drunk? I think it's like normal wasted, but with a lot more woo-s being emitted. Also, ensuring that everyone knows exactly how drunk you are. So drunk. Thanksgiving at my shop, we all drew hand turkeys on the whiteboard. My co-worker basically diddled herself in the middle of my boss's wedding reception, in front of most of my boss's extended family. Good times. Co-worker and his wife show up to our black tie Christmas party and she is wearing a slutty Santa's helper outfit, like this. Customer Craze webpage. Not a huge deal, but then she proceeded to get hammered drunk. Flashed all of us lucky enough to be at her table and then took pics of her ass and tits in the photo booth at the back of the room. I guess she didn't realize or care that we could all see on the screen what she was doing in there. The whole time the husband was just laughing and acting like it was no big deal. First year at the company. Married CEO all over an employee pretty much in front of the whole company. Awkward AF. Both really drunk. The fact that they didn't start making out in front of everyone was a Christmas miracle. My Christmas party is on Friday. Guess I should just stick to beer. I joined a company and was hired by the new boss. Most of the tenured employees were against new boss and his new hires. Every conversation was dependent on who was present and how private it was. Bad environment. Cue the team builder. The majority of the team had worked together for a while and partied hard. The new people, including management, had no idea how bad of an idea a bar setting was. We all got a meal and 2 drinks on the company's dime. People were asking right away if they could trade their meal for more booze. After the budget was spent, you could see the managers trying to be fun and participate and just accept that it was a shit show in the making. They excused themselves and left. I was new and didn't want to ride the sinking ship, but I stayed for a while. The crew was great and fun. They obviously had a work relationship, and the bar setting brought out the intimacies that never had an opportunity to blossom completely. 2 people ended up hooking up. A bunch of people smoked weed in a car, and the crazy thing was a girl showed everyone her fake tits to everyone at the bar. There was a stronger bond after that. The management didn't last, but I did. Better management came in after that and cleaned house. But that team builder was the most ridiculous work thing I've ever been to. Saw tits. Looks like fake tits are the real hero here. All 30 of us ended up on top of a mountain at sunrise, naked and drunk. We then went for breakfast and back to work. Edit. Christ, this blew up. CEO slapped my ass in front of my boyfriend and kissed a coworker in front of her husband. Edit. His slapping my ass was not invited and I was thoroughly enraged. I don't know about his kissing my coworker though. I was the one who started giving him head in the middle of the party. It's okay though, we are still together to this day. That is one lucky maintenance man. 2 meter for me. What made you pass out? At our Christmas party recently I put a coworker on my shoulders and carried him along so he could attach some tinsel to the beams in the roof. That was pretty unsafe. Someone did offer a ladder halfway through but we were already on a roll. I love this literal NSFW. Just recently went to my girlfriend's vet office Christmas party at the owner's very nice house. The party is known for everyone getting extremely wasted. I am driving so I stayed relatively sober. My GF on the other hand did not. She was already quite tipsy off of all kinds of mixed drinks. I head to the bathroom down the hall for 5 minutes. Come back to realize she had taken 3 shots. 2 is her total drinking limit. Fast forward up cut 10 minutes and she's absolutely sloshed. She requests to go to the bathroom and starts asking everyone the quickest way to get there like we're about to go on a road trip or something. I escort her carefully and let her do the booziness. While waiting I got caught up talking to a bunch of co-workers and kinda forgot she was in the bathroom. About 15 minutes later she comes rushing out saying we have to leave because she does not feel good. I inform everyone we are going to head out when I hear someone yell, "Oh fuck," from the bathroom hall. Turns out in that 15 minutes, my girlfriend managed to completely break the toilet in half, causing the plumbing pipe from the wall to explode as well, which started flooding the room. As an added bonus she decided to start throwing up at the front door as well. Let's just say I sobered up real quick. Anyways, the folks were super supportive of it even though they had to replace the flooring, plumbing, and the toilet. Didn't even make her pay anything. The owner also posted pictures on Facebook of his broken toilet and said it was the best party they've had in a while. Summer Clark event. Clark has brought his GF, who was very attractive, Marisa, that you would have thought this Clark capable, and everyone is having a good time. Dinner ends and people are deciding where to go out drinking, when server shows up with a tray full of tequila shots. Partner's wife has ordered about 15-20 shots for the maid, 10 people still standing there. Anyway, we start to get to work on the shots and now partner's wife, who we are realizing is really drunk, wants to do body shots. Long story short, a minute later, partner's wife is sucking salt off the nape of Clark's GF's neck while everyone but mostly the Clark is nervously laughing. We all head to the bar, except partner and wife apparently go home rather than join us. Clark and GF don't last much longer as the wheels come flying off a wagon at the bar about 15 minutes later. Good times. Good times. For your information, Clark is now a 4th-year associate and I don't believe I've seen the partner's wife at a firm function in quite some time. My supervisor and I somehow ended up on the couch in the basement of another co-worker's Christmas party, watching demon porn. An exec looked at a picture of my wife and did a little nod and wink while we drank gin and tonics. The absolute madman. My ex-girlfriend's parents own a restaurant and every year they throw a huge Christmas party. The party is always great and is open bar with a great band playing. One year when I was walking into the kitchen to restock the beer, I opened the door to see a dishwasher and a waitress having sex on the dishwasher counter. I quietly walked out and got a group of people together to walk in and embarrass them, and it was the highlight of the party. I picture OP running out shouting, "Guys, these people are having sex on the dishwasher counter. Quick, let's walk in on them." Pretty late, but I work in a restaurant and we end up with some wild parties at staff events. About 3 times a year we hold these staff parties, usually around Christmas, around the end of our restaurant's fiscal year, and a summer party on the patio. Working in a restaurant we have a strange group of people. Lots of younger staff, think 16-23, and then a group of much older people, mothers who are serving part-time, lifelong servers. experienced grill cooks, management, etc. So the contrast in age always lets to unexpected, wild parties. Things that happen almost every party. All the ladies and a few lucky guys end up drunk dancing on the bar and tables. Someone gets caught and ignored. Doing lines in the bathrooms. Lap dances are had and filmed. Someone ends up passed out at a booth table. People lose their clothing. Usually guys' shirts. Sometimes women go home and just bras covered up by a nice guy's hoodie. Anything else you expect at a house party? Things that stood out to me. Starting less NSFW and going more NSFW. I'd offered to DD the first year I got my car and was still a year underage. One of our older kitchen staff puked out my window, and then I sat in my car as he zigzagged back and forth across his yard. Literally the entire yard, like 15 feet left then 15 feet right, and finally made it to his front door. Spent maybe 2-3 minutes trying to unlock the door before finally getting inside, and me immediately seeing him fall down on his face trying to get up his stairs. I saw his wife at the top of the stairs and figured he was in fine hands, so I continued my way home. Our previous kitchen manager slurring through a conversation with one of our young grill cooks, who was drinking heavily daily, definitely showing alcoholic tendencies but has since cut way down on the drinking, about the dangers of alcohol and how he needs to slow down on the partying, while buying him shot after shot of tequila. This was one of the managers who we found passed out at a booth when his wife came to drive him home, me excitedly jumping in the air after winning a game of beer pong. Unfortunately my young female beer pong partner was about 2 inches off my shoulder when I jumped and I ended up smashing her face with my shoulder giving her a real bad nosebleed. I still feel bad about that one. I bought her a few more drinks to make up for it. We don't encourage underage drinking, but basically we can't stop anything that doesn't happen in our restaurant. Normally, the underage kids have a few drinks in their car before coming in and then enjoy the night as usual, then call a cab or have someone DD them home. This one night, the city redneck boys decided they needed to bring a keg and 24s in their truck to the party. Throughout the night, them and a few other people would slip out for a cigarette break and would presumably crush a few beers. This was fine, until one underage lady who was taking cigarette breaks with the other people, projectile vomited across the hallway leading towards the washrooms, then proceeded to pass out on the booth. Once we woke her up, she was found by our GM giving head to one of our other underage co-workers in the men's bathroom. That was a fun party. The stories go on, but those are definitely the highlights of the largest staff parties. Jesus fucking Christ, you guys rape those poor children? Does it help that there were ancient dead children put on display? It's helping me. Can you please explain why the fuck you have a party for adults at a children's museum? Fuck it, no, throw away. This will bite me in the ass. I was working for a large Canadian telecom company about 6 years ago. Our office was downtown in a major city and we liked to go for drinks or food after work. One night I ended up with a group that included 3 of my bosses, a new assistant, and 2 colleagues who had the same position as myself. After hours of clubbing we realized the last buses were gone and it was cold out. The girls were wearing dresses, the guys suits. Not the best attire for Canadian winters at night. One of the managers suggested we go back to our office and keep the party going. I was pretty drunk so I laid down on one of the lobby couches when we arrived at the office and fell asleep. I was woken up shortly by a sobbing receptionist. She had started dating one of the managers and came by the office because a friend of hers told her he was still at the office. I looked up to see what she was so upset about, and right through the floor to ceiling glass walls are 2 of the managers, one of which was her boyfriend, double teaming the new assistant on the conference table, literally on the table, in full sight of us. I did the only appropriate thing, went right back to sleep, left in the morning before staff came in and never went back. I didn't quit, didn't tell anyone what happened either. I just stopped answering my phone and emails and found another job. I didn't want to get caught up in the impending HR shit show. A giant black dick cake with white ice dripped onto it. Was interning at a Fortune 500 insurance company in college. New month. Underwriting intern decided it'd be a good idea to get shit-faced at the company's summer party, where all the spouses and kids show up. He kept it together until he saw the wine bottles, opened one up, started drinking directly from the bottle, gets blasted. The two highest in command people see where this is going. They stay later than intended to make sure he's okay. Order him an expensive Uber ride back to his place. They paid for it. Dude loses it. Yells at the Uber driver to tell him to take him back. No one knows how he got home. 3 days later, Monday, super awkward hellos and he was kindly given the chance to resign instead of being fired. TLER. Don't do stupid shit when you're an intern. Someone left some of their acquired PPE laying about. Some fat naked short dude exploded out of the leather couch. When I was younger I was in a metal band and we all lived in the same house. We liked Pabst, celebrated nudity and had no concept of boundaries or personal space. It was a typical alcohol-soaked night. We listened to music and got shit-faced in the kitchen. Some of us would sit on the counter, or the staircase, and 2 people could sit on the black leather couch up against the wall. Seated in the couch was one of our guitar players. Short, kinda funner looking, and admittedly dull. He was an awesome dude and everyone loved him. We'll call him Russell. Comfortably drunk. More people trickled in, mostly just good friends, and a few we don't see as often. One among the latter category was this slut that had been coming around and fucking Russell every now and then. I actually really didn't get to know her because she wasn't around often. Our boy never lasted long, but we didn't mind because Russell just got out of a bad falling out with his ex and some non-committal sex seemed to be just what the doctor ordered. Anyway, she sits on the couch next to Russell, is greeted, cracks his 40 for him, smiles, makes small talk for a minute, then whips out his dick and starts vigorously sucking him off. People start noticing and soon a crowd gathers, all shouting encouraging comments and cheering Russell on. All of a sudden he has 140 in each hand, and, basking in the glory of his peers, chugs both of them. It took a while and she was sweating like a dog near the end, but eventually Russell closed his eyes, requested brief silence, and finished. She didn't take it like a champ, which somewhat disappointed everyone, and he jizzed on the arm of the couch. She stopped coming around after that, saw her in her car once, made eye contact, and she quickly averted her gaze when she realized I recognized her. Jesus. The dick choking story can't be topped and this wasn't at work for me, but when I was 11 or 12 I was at a week-long church camp and one of the counselors started getting oddly chummy with the campers, telling dirty jokes and overall being creepy. He was about 35 and his son went there as a camper too. The dad bossed the son around and called him names like slow, stupid, idiot and retard all the time as a joke. We finally told the youth leader of the entire camp and he says he will talk to him. The next day the guy apologizes and as a token of his apology showed us porn on his cell phone. It was porn of him and his wife. He was escorted off the campground by the time we had Bible study that night. Later the son yelled at us for telling on his dad afterwards. I always felt bad the kid didn't understand how bad his dad messed with his head. TLDR. Creepy camp counselor was a dick to his son then showed the 11-year-old's porn and was forced to leave. I used to work as an assistant for some guy who thought he was the king of the carnival just because of his status as middle management. It was normal and boring. Making copies, typing things, scheduling shit, sexually dominating one of his female employees with him, taking his calls, all very tedious. Oh yeah, I guess that one thing was unusual. Literally my first day on the job, the boss buzzes me and says PMME your crises. Can you tell that dumb slut Julia that I'd like to see her in my office? Well okay, I thought. Probably gonna leave out the dumb slut part of it since that seems inappropriate. But goddammit if she didn't come over, stand in front of my desk, and whisper dumb slut Julia to see Mr. Boss. When she comes back out she handed me a pair of bright red panties and asked me to hold on to them until she'd be allowed to wear them again. So for weeks these pervs kept including me, and only me, in their workplace BDSM dalliances. I always remained distant and professional, but I never refused to do anything. Sometimes it did strike me as odd that I never refused or quit or went to HR. I thought for a while that maybe I was just as into it as they were. Maybe I felt like I really needed the money. Maybe I was just trying to bang Julia, or the boss. Who really knows why they do half the shit they do? The truth is it's like being at the circus in one of those hallways that's got mirrors on every side that distort everything and freak you out with fucked up reflections of mannequin clowns. Let's say you're in one of the hallways, and you're going through it, and it's getting to you and the mannequin clowns are freaking you out with their harsh makeup and the awful expressions on their faces, but you're going through it. Well, no matter what you see, or what you hear, or what you feel like, you keep fucking going. You never stop moving and you never turn around because you know that's how people lose their goddamned minds. And when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. So I showed up to work every day, and when Julia asked me to write demeaning phrases on her tits in marker, I wrote them. And when the boss asked me to sit in on the weekly meetings they had where she confessed all her whorish recent misdeeds, I sat in and took notes. But all things must come to an end. And one day when I was supposed to film him anally penetrating her for the first time later that evening, I handed in my resignation. I then politely thanked them both for the opportunity and went off to my new job with better hours and for $2 more per hour. I worked at Playboy, so everything? Technically it would all be safe for work. I went to a company Christmas party about 30 years ago. It was in a big office building, and the party was up on the 30th floor. Everything was going great. People were having a good time. There was food, wine, and some people were pairing off with others to slip into empty offices for someone on one time. And then the elevators open and these Eurotrash guys crash the party. Holy shit. They had guns, and they were firing them into the air and scaring the shit out of everyone. Well, everyone freaks the fuck out and starts running around. I have no idea what to do, so I jumped behind the couch and hide. I kept hoping the security guards would show up, but we never saw them. Eventually, they stopped shooting their guns and they herd everyone into the main area. I'm standing at the back of the group so I can't hear much when one of the guys, who looked pretty sharp in his suit, starts talking. He's walking around looking at all our Asian bosses. It was a Japanese company, and then he stops and grabs one of them and walks off. Well, the rest of the Eurotrash guys with guns make everyone sit on the floor and wait. We're there for about 30 minutes and the well-dressed guy comes back and says something again. I still can't hear him. I must have fucked my hearing up too much at a Motley Crue concert. But everyone near the speaker seems to be really upset. So now we're just sitting there on the floor for a few hours, and nothing is happening. We see some of the Eurotrash guys coming and going, and they look pretty pissed off. I hear faint noises from the floors above us, under construction, but I have no idea what is happening. Suddenly, there are these big explosions below us, and what sounds like gunfire. I assume it's the cops coming up, but no one shows up. Then there is a massive explosion that seems to shake the entire building. Well, I think we're done for, but nothing else happens for a while. Eventually, the guys with guns start yelling at the group, and we seem to be herded towards the stairs to go up to the under construction area. What the fuck is happening? I'm near the back of the group as we go up and I suddenly realize we're heading to the roof. There is a jam up on the stairs, and I'm just standing there near the middle back of the line, when suddenly I hear lots of loud noises and screaming and what sounds like helicopters. WTF. Everyone starts turning around and running back down the stairs. I say, fuck it, and bolt down the stairs and past where the Eurotrash guys were a minute ago. I just keep booking it down the stairs, floor by floor. There is another loud explosion and I feel the building shake again, but I just keep running. Eventually, I get to the bottom floor, which has no glass anywhere. It's all broken and shit, and run out of the building. There is a fuckload of cops standing around, with some TV camera crews as well, and the cops direct us to a safe area. I'm just standing there getting interviewed by the cops when suddenly there is this loud scream and see some freaky tall blonde guy with a big gun. He looks really messed up, face all bloody and shit. He points the gun at someone and then a cop shot him. For the next couple of hours, I get interviewed by the cops and the media. I find out later it was some robbery hostage terrorist thing. Our building was fucked up beyond belief. Our company shut down the office entirely, and I lost my job. So, I ended up looking for a job for the next 11 months and just give up. I decide to fly home to Washington DC, where my family lived. Don't get me started on what happened on that flight. Did you by chance hear someone yelling yippee ki yay motherfucker?